I'm so glad to be working on this one. PSI Hermetic is a gem, or I guess the correct pronunciation, which I believe would be Greek, Sea Hermetic. Loved getting gameplay for it, and this thing looks like it was taken straight from the Shield Brothers strike in Destiny 1, man. Just look at it. Big D1 vibes, the look, the feel, the scope. It just feels like home. So much so, it's one of the reasons why I like it so much. It feels and looks kind of like the original Hopscotch Pilgrim. And that's one of the first ever reviews I did for Destiny more than 8 years ago. And side note, which shader to match Hopscotch? We have Deep Sea Jaunt, Glacial Whisper, New Pacific, or Powder Blue. I went with Powder Blue. Moving on though, lots to talk about and there's a lot to learn. There's even some things I'm not sure have been discussed. The best part about this thing, blessing and a curse. There's zero pressure. I want you to look for specific things when it drops, if it drops. It has some qualities you should take notice. It has some cool things going on, definitely in PvE. And as far as the Crucible, flat out, simply, it's a good one. It's a really good one, but also there is a chance it might even be better than the messenger you have. I have some stacked messengers I'm going to go over later. And it sounds crazy, but let's remember not everyone can grind. Maybe you have a 4 out of 5. Not quite there. Regardless though, regardless. If this pulse lands with what it needs to land with, it has a shot. It has more than a shot. All you have to do is look at the drop. Unfortunately, it's a world drop weapon. So you get it from an Ingram on the ground. The Gunsmith turning in Ingrams. And side note, I saw that Bungie is bringing back Foundry Ingram focusing next season, so Harsh Language, Sununa, all the other world drops we've had should be a lot easier. Which is good because the world drops are few and far in between. I have 2 of these pulses, and actually, yesterday, I got the High Impact Strand Fusion for the first time. I didn't even know that that was a thing. That's how rare these things are. Hermetic is a High Impact Stasis Pulse. It has great stats. All the stats are at least average, some a little bit above average. The best part, it's one of the few high impacts that lands on curve. No counterbalance mod needed. It comes with 75 recoil direction. It's beautiful and ready to rock out of the box. This means that recoil direction barrels are great, getting it to 85. Then even further with a counterbalance mod to go to 100. Arrowhead gets to 100. Freedom. Any barrel that you want, throw it on and go. In the third column, we have Outlaw, Encore, Elemental Capacitor, Enlightened Action, Moving Target, Heating Up. Final column, Kill Clip, Headstone, Headseeker, Golden Tricorn, Frenzy, Perpetual Motion. Beast perks, great perks. And we have the new Origin trait, Wild Card. Final blows with this weapon have a chance to create experimental submunitions at the target's location. It is indeed wild, and a good trait. After a final blow, you leave little Telesto bolts. And just like Telesto, they're going to hit the ground, they stay there. If enemies walk by them, they detonate. It's got a little proxy det. If no enemy walks by, they're just going to detonate out of boredom, just like Telesto. They'll sit there for about 7.5 seconds. The damage is okay. Not bad, not great. It's enough to stun enemies as they walk by them. It can even down them. It does have a small cooldown timer. You can't go back to back to back and drop little bolts. You're going to drop one after a final blow, wait a couple seconds, next final blow, you can do it again. And I don't know if it's been talked about, but this little Telesto bolt is tied to the actual weapon and it takes on the qualities of its perks. This roll has Encore on it, so I get it down, it drops a little bolt. If that bolt gets a kill, it will actually add a stack onto my ongoing Encore stacks. So if it picks up downs, it can add to the weapon. Like with something like Point of the Stag, Iron Banner, the bow, it has Wild Card, and this one has Pugilist. Weapon final blows generate melee energy. So if that little bolt picks up a kill, it's going to give some melee energy. Pretty cool. Unique little trait we have here. Wild Card is tied to the enemy type. So miners are going to drop 1, elites are going to drop 3, and the Crucible, defeating a player, is going to drop 3. The Spotlight is going to be Headstone. Check this out. As we know, the little Telesto bolt takes on the qualities of your weapon. So in PvE, specifically on miners, it does drop 1 bolt. So in this clip, I'm on Solar. I get it down, spawn a crystal, you see the bolt come out, it detonates, but it doesn't do enough to break it. Almost. But if you get on Stasis, so think Osmio Shadebinder, any Stasis Hunter or Titan combination. If you throw on Rending, primary ammo weapons do increased damage to Stasis crystals and frozen targets. Wild Card takes on this effect, so your headshot final blow will create a crystal, and then break itself because of Wild Card, paired with that fragment, and this makes this pulse like the first ever self-exploding crystal final blow. Spawn it and detonate it. And again, in PvE versus miners, it's just 1, so you need the fragment. If you build into the Stasis subclass, pairing aspects and fragments, you can let the Stasis kit flow. Like we'll take Shadebinder, Bleak Watcher, and Glacial Harvest. So for this, of course, Rending, primary ammo doing more damage to crystals, but we could tie in fissures, increases the damage and size of the crystal explosion. Shards, shattering a crystal grants grenade recharge rate. Conduction, those shards will track to you. So now, that headshot final blow will spawn a crystal, self-detonate, and a little mini nuke goes off. Everyone liked that. That's so awesome. And all those things, bigger shatter damage, going out further, grenade regen, maybe your shards give you an overshield. Whatever you have your kit set up with, works with this. Super cool. And I want to jump to PvP real quick. It's super cool there too. After a final blow, it drops more than one, so it can break that crystal without the stasis subclass. You don't need rending. And yeah, it's gonna chip. I've had it chip, I've had to get final blows, and just going target to target. Remember, if it spawns up right next to an enemy, it could freeze them. Then you have to think, maybe they're slowed, they get immediately popped by fissures damage or the crystal exploding. But one of my favorite things to do has actually been on Strand, Sotorachne Hunter. It's great, to be honest, because you proc Woven Mail, weapon final blows, you spawn that tangle. Well, you get a final blow, spawns up the crystal. Inside the crystal is the tangle. The wildcard explosions explode the crystal and the tangle at the same time. I have a new aspect, Whirling Maelstrom. Destroying a tangle leaves a violent mass of strand fibers, a little strand buzzsaw. It seeks out and damages targets. So what's so cool, again, just awesome. One headshot final blow causes this chain reaction because of the wildcard origin trait. Spawning the crystal up. Inside the crystal is a tangle. Wildcard Telesto bolts exploding the crystal. All that damage exploding the tangle. And then we have Buzzsaw. It's incredible. And it makes it so unique on a number of levels. And I've been having a blast with it. And what's crazy, and this is just a fun thing to do, like this is actually an option for PvP. You can run it with your stasis kit, but man, it is so good getting that tangle inside that crystal. Important takeaway, Headstone alone makes this weapon. In PvE, you need to run the fragment. PvP, it's ready to go self-procking. Very fun on Strand. And since this is a rare drop, the recoil is perfect out of the gate. The third column can be anything. Mine's Elemental Capacitor, but Enlightened Action, Outlaw, Encore, Heating Up does not matter. Headstone's the outlier. You grab Headstone, you have the engine to make the car drive. Headstone's all you need. But then we get into PvP specific things. First of all, looking at the pool, we got some bangers. Encore Headseeker, which wouldn't you know it, that's my role. Encore Kill Clip, Perpetual Motion Kill Clip, Heating Up Headseeker, it works, it all works, it's all good. 75 base recoil on a high impact 0.67 pulse, you can't say anything bad about that. But let's stop for a second and look at Messenger. Let's look at mine. I have some OG ones, I have some of the new ones with the new rolls, highlighted by a new one that I got. With the range changes, this one's 98 range, 74 stability. Moving target kill clip, a beast. We have 91 range Perpetual Motion Headseeker, so 87 stability, 91 range. There's Rapid Hit Kill Clip. There's some Encore rolls. I kept some under overs. Keep away. There's obviously some good ones because Messenger is jam-packed. And with some of the base things on this one, again, Encore Kill Clip, Perpetual Motion Headseeker, whatever, those are good too. And yes, if you don't have a perfect God roll Messenger, this can overtake it. It can. And some of that has to do with it starting off with perfect recoil direction. Like, let's take Small Bore, Range Masterwork, Encore Kill Clip, Headshot Final Blow into Kill Clip, so that's 98 range, 71 stability. Encore times 2 is 100 range, 87 stability with Kill Clip. Like, it can hang. The other perks work too. Encore is huge as a third column perk. It's one of the main things to try to get. But the winner, the thing to look for overall compared to whatever high impact pulse you have, Messenger, whatever. At the start, I said if it lands right, it could become your new favorite thing, and that's Golden Tricorn. This is the first time we've seen Golden Tricorn on a high impact pulse. It's the only one. And with Golden Tricorn, you get a kill, no reload needed, 15% more damage for 7 seconds, and it can chain. With a base 0.67 TTK, you've seen the gameplay. This thing's nice at base. It can grab that 0.67. 15% more pushes a TTK shift. So tier 3 to 10 resilience, 5 crits for a 0.6. Tier 2 and under, 4 crit, 1 body for a 0.6. You're getting the benefit of that easier 2 burst, just like Kill Clip, but without the reload. Go target to target chaining. And when you look at it, let's say you get Small Bore Accurized Range Masterwork, 88 range, 55 stability, Golden Tricorn. That's really good. That's 38 meters of range. These things cap out at about 40. These things hold damage fall off as well. But if you add in something like Encore, 100 range, 87 stability with Tricorn going off, that's it. That's the one. You could even go Arrowhead at that point with the Range Masterwork. Encore Tricorn's 100 range, 100 recoil, 80 stability. I'm telling you, as crazy as it sounds, if it all falls right, it has a shot, more than a shot. And honestly, just a high range Golden Tricorn roll is something to go for, period. landing 3 or even 4 out of the 5 needed for a perfect roll. As long as you have golden tricorn in high range, I would keep it and use it. The one that you've been seeing is Arrowhead Break Appended, Handling Masterwork, Encore Headseeker, 61 range, 48 stability. This is 34.3 meters of fall off, not ideal. When I get Encore 4, which you've seen, it's 81 range, 80 stability. That's 37.2 meters. That's more like it. But compared to the messengers that I have, this one doesn't beat those out. But if I did have range perks, if I had that 85 plus range with this roll that I have, I'd be all over it. And that's why I say that there's no pressure. And hey, for some of you, this roll that I have might be better than, let's say, your non-adept messenger. It can go either way. So personally, Headstone is just a vibe all on its own. If you get Headstone, you won. You can get that thing going in PvE or the Crucible, and the Crucible is just out of the rip. That's the #1 prize. Otherwise, look for that perfect golden tricorn roll for the Crucible. And if Foundry focusing does come back next season and you're able to focus these, I will be going for it. I think it's that good. It has that much potential. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about this pulse down below. What's your drop rate, first of all? I want to know if you've used golden tricorn, and I want to know if you have Headstone. Let's talk about it down below. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.